Hello everyone and welcome to Module 10. So this week we have one chapter again to focus on, not two, which is kind of nice. So this week we are focused on Chapter 41, which is dealing with geriatrics. So let's go ahead and dive in and kind of discuss this chapter and what you should expect to see. So Chapter 41 is dealing with and focusing on the study of aging and the effects of aging on people, which is called gerontology. A geriatrician is the physician who actually diagnoses, treats, and diseases and conditions that affect older patients. As a medical assistant, you will be working in an office that provides several services specifically to those of the elderly population. Working with the providers that care for these elderly patients and the elderly populations does come with some specific considerations. You will need to be able to support their physical and emotional needs, and you will need to be able to have proper and effective communication with the geriatric population. Doing so can help keep them calm, relaxed, and show your respect for this population. When communicating with the elderly, you do not want to hurry them along. You want to try to stay focused on them. Allow them the time that they need to speak, because rushing them can actually cause them to shut down. You want to speak clearly and slowly. That does not mean that you start yelling at them. Just simply means that you want to slow down the way that you're talking and don't rush through it. Just like you don't want to rush them, don't rush your speech. Always make eye contact with any patient, but specifically those of the geriatric population. This is a sign of respect to them, so always make sure that you're making eye contact. And avoid using pet names. This should be with all patients, not just your geriatric patients. You don't want to call anyone honey or dear or sweetie. Keep to sticking with professional names. Mrs. Smith, or calling them by their first name, Caroline, whatever that might be, whatever they are comfortable with, but never use a pet name. When we discuss the geriatric patients, it's really important to keep in mind that they will have certain changes that they go through, both physically and mentally. Some physical changes that they'll go through, this is generally a continual process from day one when we're born until we pass away and we have death. There are factors, though, that do influence or do impact how your body will change. Those could be things such as genetics, the lifestyle choices that you've made, occupational hazards, nutritional choices, if you were able to have healthcare services, and physical and social environments. Now, the mental changes that a patient may go through are a little bit different. Most people think that mental deterioration is a normal part of aging, but it really isn't. It does, however, increase with certain risks or physical disorders, but that is really not a part of actual aging. Mental health will actually refer to the patient's ability to cope effectively with life changes, life stresses, and their emotional balance. A good thing to encourage patients of the geriatric population is to encourage them to maintain a good mental health. They should really do things like remaining active, participating in something that they find interesting. Even if it's, I've had many patients who say that they do like water therapy. That's still making them active and still giving them something to look forward to. Patients should also engage in social interactions. This will help give the patients a feeling of self-worth and feel like they're of value to society still. Generally, remaining social will keep patients from going depressed, which will help slow the mental deterioration down if that would be happening. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end this review for this week. As always, please make sure that you read Chapter 41 completely, as it will help you not only with your assignment this week, but your discussion post. So for your discussion board this week, you'll be looking at and discussing the aging process. You will need to be aware of what changes a patient will go through in the aging process and discuss 2 categories of aging. In your own words, you will need to describe what happens in each of those stages that you choose to talk about. You will need to include in your discussion how the physical changes affect the patient's daily life as well. Please make sure that your initial discussion post is completed Tuesday by midnight and that you've responded to 2 classmates Saturday by midnight. For your written assignment this week, it again will be a 2-part assignment, and you will need to answer the 2 parts in one Word document or in the same Word document and submit as one assignment. For part 1, you will be reviewing the case study again. You'll need to read over that case study and answer the questions that are associated with that case study. Part 1 should be no more than 1 page in length. For part 2, you will be discussing and reviewing the 5 stages of death and dying. You will need to first list and define each of the steps, and then you will need to relate each stage as to how you will help somebody as the medical assistant if they are experiencing that stage. There are some questions that are built into the Angel written assignment that will help you kind of guide your answers towards how you can relate to each stage. Part 2 should also be no more than 1 page in length. Please make sure that both parts are completed and submitted as one Word assignment in Sunday by midnight. Lastly, for this week, the second half of your course project is due. Now, please remember, you were supposed to seek approval from myself on the disease that you wanted to do your patient teaching on. You will need to create a pamphlet or a brochure that you will present in the lab class this week. You will need to have enough pamphlets for the classmates you are with and the instructor. So please make sure that that is completed and ready to go on Tuesday, but you'll need to actually submit to the online piece Sunday by midnight for credit. Alright guys, that is all I have for you this week. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you on Tuesday with presentations ready. Bye guys.